A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 5, verses 17 to 19. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. Don't suppose for a minute that I have come to demolish the scriptures, either God's law or the prophets. I'm not here to demolish, but to complete. I am going to put it all together in a vast panorama. God's law is more real and lasting than the stars in the sky and the ground at your feet. Long after stars burn out and earth wears out, God's law will be alive and working. Trivialize even the smallest item in God's law, and you will only have trivialized to yourself. But take it seriously. Show the way for others, and you will find honor in the kingdom. The Gospel of the Lord.
Reflections on the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 to 19. The Gospel of Matthew is primarily written for the converts from Jewish background. Although they accepted the faith in Jesus and became part of the community, it was not easy for them to give up their Jewish background and traditions. Hence, we find both Matthew and St. Paul go out of their way to assure the Jewish converts that Christianity is not a rejection of Judaism, but rather its natural development. So in today's passage, which continues the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus solemnly assures his readers that he has not come to terminate the law, but to bring it to a higher level. To give a rough example, it is like the upgrading of a computer by increasing its memory. It is still the same computer, doing the same things, only better and faster. The vision of Jesus helps us to see the law in a new light. He is not saying that every single precept of the law has to be literally observed, but rather follow the spirit behind those laws. In our church too, we need to be ready to move forward to a new ways of understanding our faith and living it out. The traditions of the past are still valid, but we must never get bogged down in them to the extent that we do not respond to the clear signs of the times. Traditions can be understood in two ways, either as a fundamental belief that existed from the very beginning, or simply a way of doing or understanding things which has been around for a long time. Christians too can become obsessed with external observances of the church laws and regulations. It can become a source of scrupulosity and fear. For example, we find so many people are so much worried about the rubrics of the divine worship to the extent that they are on the watch out for anyone who deviates from the rubrics. We find heated arguments on social media discussing how many candles to be lit on the altar, how many times shall the bell be rung, should we or should we not extend our hands while praying the Lord's Prayer, whether to receive the communion in hand or on the tongue, kneeling or standing. What should be the color of the shoes of the altar servers? The list goes on and on. We need to remember that these acts do not stand on their own and only have meaning if they deepen our relationship with God. In all things, our ultimate guide must be the law of love. A truly loving act can never be sinful, although at times it may violate the letter of a law.